I attended Audit Futures' second assembly, and being in a provocative mood, I laid down some challenges for the profession. I suggested it should operate with radical transparency, operate as if it was operating in a glass box, that it should be clear about its social purpose, and that it should embrace innovation and collaboration.
I do think that at the moment, definitely the whole glass box thing, saying more and more about audit, is what the market is driving. So that was a very interesting point, I thought, that came out of it.
I am passionate about this profession because I've seen what happens when auditing and the accountancy profession isn't there. What happens to business? What happens to the efficient functioning of markets?
Audit is in the uncomfortable, but to some extent inevitable position of being judged in the public mind very often by its failures or failures with which it's associated, but for which it's not responsible.
As an economist, and specifically as an economist who's thinking a lot about that word that Matthew just said, which is, not just any growth, but a particular type of growth. So smart growth, that means innovation-led growth, but also inclusive growth and sustainable growth. Actually having, measures, how to actually trace long-term value, which was a phrase that I really liked in the report, is extremely important.
So first of all, you need to think about what is shareholder capitalism, why are we still captured by this myth that public companies are there purely for the benefit of shareholders. Until you do that, you can't get around to talking about what audit can and can't do, I don't think.
The audit profession needs to be much more flexible and to be able to understand and adapt to the specific needs of a client in a rather more wide-ranging way.
Well, I guess what I took away from today is that while we understand well now some of the challenges facing audit, there's still a way to go in terms of really articulating a view of how we would see audit being done in the future.
We want the auditing community to actually contribute to creating a better capitalism. I think that we actually need a framework through which to understand what the purpose is. Is it just about fixing different types of market failures, or is it about shaping and creating markets actively and having a dialogue with society about what kind of society we want?
We sat in 4 tables where none of us, I think, had met each other before other than a few individuals, and conversations obviously went on energetically.
The emphasis in our little group was very much on people and the behaviours that auditors need to demonstrate. All those sort of interpersonal skills, communication skills that are necessary, having empathy, a whole host of things that we were looking at.
Very interesting set of perspectives, although quite a few people at the table were partners in different firms, but we also had a few people who came from sort of slightly different career paths, and I think as well having a bit of a different perspective on what society is and what society wants, which perhaps sort of circulated some slides, that again added a bit of interest, a bit of another dimension.
I think the most interesting thing that came out from the discussions was the emphasis on education and the education of the future of the profession, the people who will enter the profession in the years to come, and how important it is that accounting education is a lot broader than it has been up till now.